Hello, everybody. My name is Eddie Cole, and welcome to the Foxway podcast. Joined today by Tony Cole,
Paikalla. Ei kun, here.
Alex Kaufman,
Oi.
Thomas Sanford,
You.
and Nathan Tarver.
The one and only.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm sure everyone already knows who you guys are, but we're still going to go around do the normal introduction thing, and this time I might start it because this is kind of a grouping session, a bigger podcast. So I am Eddie Cole, the host of this podcast, and an actor for Foxway Studios, and also the editor and the host of the Foxway Extras channel. Tony, you go.
Well, the big boss, the great overlord, and probably a presidential candidate at some point.
Alex Kaufman, please.
Yes. An actor and pretty much the main camera guy besides Tony.
Thomas.
Yeah, I'm Thomas. I don't know. I just am. I do all kinds of stuff. I act and sometimes I do the camera stuff and yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, I'm Nathan, and I'm the best actor in Foxway Studios. I'm
No
Thank
argument there.
no, I don't know, same as Tony.
Except that you're not the leader of Foxway Studios.
Well,
Or
okay.
will he?
Yet.
Well, you'll have to see Civil War 5.
Okay, well,
I'm an actor. Yeah.
Firstly, before we get into any of our topics, if anyone has anything to say before we start this podcast, please go ahead.
It's a beautiful day. That's all, really. It's
Yes.
warm and sunny and nice and melty.
Yes.
It's
Summer is
been
coming.
a long winter.
Okay, thank you. now,
No problem.
now I think we can get into our podcast.
Yes. please.
I kind of wanted to make this this podcast. How should I call it? We could kind of go through the start of this year, last year's projects and how we did those, and then of course we can talk about the future. We'll probably go from a chronological order, and we'll start by talking a bit about last year. So, last year started with some titles like Running Blind and Civil War 4 and Million Dollar Bill and Fourth Line. Now, if there is anything anyone wants to comment, please.
I gotta say I I haven't seen the $1 Million Bill.
Are you sure?
What?
As long as it has been up, I haven't seen it. I don't know what's gone into me, but I might know what I'm going to do after this.
It's one of the most unique things we have on the channel.
Yeah.
I think it's the only one that's black and white.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an interesting one to make, and it was completely done in a day. Like, well, except for the editing, but well, that also took like a couple of hours. So it was a really short one. We wrote it, or actually, well, it was a story by me, but Eddie and Osiris wrote it, and
Ah,
yeah, it's an interesting one. It's really different in that sense, but yeah, we filmed it in the matter of 2 to 3 hours maybe, and it's a 10-minute film, so that's it came out pretty nicely and quickly, and but yeah, and it was released a week after it was made, so yeah, that's also something that doesn't tend to happen with us anymore, since usually we're sitting on a finished film for like 2-3 months at least. So yeah, that was a really unique one last year.
Actually, not that I think about it, before $1 Million Bill, we did Civil War 4 Empire. We were all in that movie, weren't we? Oh no, Thomas wasn't.
Thomas was not, but wait, maybe he can cosplay Eric for this one.
Yeah, of course. Civil War 4 was like, for me, the first actual big role, I guess. I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever played other like
Well-
starring roles. I guess it could be considered a starring role, but
Well, definitely it is. I consider you the main character of that one. It's just kind of the carrying power. Well, if there's no you in that film, there's no film.
Mm.
Well, maybe the four of us would have ended up shooting each other, but you know.
yeah.
I remember I love a certain line in that film, but it was such a pain in the ass to edit because there's a point where everybody's just kind of like disorientated and everything is going on around us, and Eddie's clones start appearing, and instead of saying what the fuck is happening, Nate goes, "What the hap is fucking?" And it's a great line. It's a fucking great line. But at the second he said it, everybody bursts out in laughter. He bursts out in laughter. And that was a hard one to edit into the film because the audio was all messed up because everybody was just laughing right into the microphone, and Nate's face was all over the place because he couldn't contain himself.
I think you can kind of see.
I knew
Yeah,
I
go.
knew it was coming, so yeah.
Yeah, I think you can kind of see at the end of that clip Nate smirk a bit.
Yeah.
Bit-
But that film also kind of Alex and Nate have serious chemistry together. Because if you think about a couple of films that we've done where you two have had a real partnership, think about 715. That works. That's a beautiful comedy bit.
Yeah, I love that one.
You two have as the hitman, and that's perfect. Then you go into Civil War 4 Empire, and you guys are just working together there, and that's just perfect. Then you go into the club, and you two are just bouncing off each other. It's just fantastic. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but it works.
Well, I guess we gotta do more of that then, huh?
Yeah, we should, and definitely, well, once we can get to doing a second club film, I really wanna dive deeper into the relationship between those two characters. But then again, we've done like recently we did Dish Served Cold, which was released last month, and there we again see you two, but this time working against each other and not with each other. So we've had many like different forms of the alliance, or your chemistry being seen on film, and it just works. It's just, I don't know why, but you guys, you bounce off each other quite well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree on that.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
for some reason it just works on film.
I think it has to do with the fact like Nate is a really good actor, as is Alex. Like both of you guys are like really good actors and like really emotive, and
Yeah,
it's kind of so easy for you guys. So, well, I remember when Nate was younger, you had a little trouble with the English, and that
Yeah.
I feel that now that you can speak the language better, you have more kind of shots to put into the actual acting. And I think you said this yourself too.
Yeah, actually, in the last podcast,
Yeah.
I said something like that.
yeah, you don't have to think about the language anymore. You can just focus on the acting itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
helps
it's easier
greatly.
to express it's easier to express yourself if you know the language and
Yeah.
you communicate.
Yeah, and it's something you don't really realize when English, if it's as natural as it is for me, for example. But it's something that I don't really like think about. But then again, when you have that kind of well, let's say problem, but when you kind of solve that problem, you have an easier time to move on to the next one, like focus on the acting. But for me, like personally, if it's you don't really realize it, and maybe it's something that everybody should think about.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful for when you, Tony, when you write the scripts, you have so many times noticed that my English is not that good, so you have made my lines a bit more easier to perform.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, when I write a character and I know who's gonna play the character, I try to make it fit the actor. Like for you, maybe I don't use such complex language. Like Thomas is not a big swearing fan, so I
Yeah.
don't I don't write swearing words for him. And well, these are the kinds of things that I take note of. And sometimes, of course, roles change, and then well, the lines can change. And I always leave some kind of room in there that we can like modify them on set if need be. But yeah, it's what it is, and it
There's
works.
also always some room for everyone to improvise if they
Yeah,
don't know the lines exactly, but like they
yeah,
can just throw it from the hip
yeah.
if you don't remember every word.
Yeah, yeah. Usually I'm only strict about getting the line exactly right if the exact order of words or the exact word is like relevant to the plot exactly. But otherwise, I don't need it be exactly as I've written it unless it's really important. And usually it's not, but there are instances when a line has to be said exactly as it has been written or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, well, that was a good way to get off tracks from the Civil War.
Mhm.
No, this is really the point of this whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it is. The best way this podcast can go is when everyone just gets off tracks and starts talking about things. But if we go following this line, then our next movie on the list that we could discuss a bit is the start of the George Whitebrook series that just received a new trailer to Fourth Line.
Go watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you
If you
haven't.
haven't seen the trailer, the amazing trailer made by Pauli Janhonen Calderon for George Whitebrook, Death to Spies, go see it right now. It's amazing, and you'll see the film next week on April 23rd.
Exciting.
Awesome. Uh,
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, the fourth line. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't involve some of you, but no, well, how about you, Nathan Thomas? As you've only seen the film and you really weren't part of it, like, how about you guys? What do you think about it?
Yeah, like I actually had to like comment on this thing a bit earlier in this conversation that like now that we, for example, me, I live in Helsinki for most of the time. Well, now because COVID happened, I've been in Kaustinen more, but it's kind of a new situation to see these films that I may not even know are coming.
Yeah.
Some of these, well, what could be an example? Well, anyhow, like I might just see like something. Well, I think the $1 Million Bill was one of those. Like that you guys have filmed something, and of course, because I'm 700 kilometers south, I haven't even heard about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of refreshing, but yeah, I like the um, new franchise a lot. I like the retro style they have. It reminds me of those old Bond films, and of course that's the intention. And I don't know. It's just I also feel refreshing to see something that doesn't involve Jack Stone in all of our spy flicks.
Yeah,
In a sense.
yeah,
Yeah, and I definitely liked the character of George Whitebrook because he's like way different than any other spy characters we have. It's
yeah,
brilliant.
that
Brilliant.
was my intention. I tried to write him as different as possible from everybody else.
Yeah, and I really liked. I don't remember. Did you show me the whole film?
I'm not sure. What do you mean?
I'm not sure if I'm talking even. Wait, I'm
Yes,
talking
George
something. Are we talking about fourth line?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh. Okay, never mind. Go on, please.
Sudden existential crisis.
Yeah, the fourth line was I came up with the idea. Well, actually, yeah, let's go to the roots of George Whitebrook. Actually, I have an American friend, Joseph, who writes his own comics, and he made a character called I don't remember what the character is actually called, but it was like a superhero comic about a spy who goes to space. And it was
Oh.
like a space spy, and he wanted me to come up with some ideas for a spy name, a proper name for a spy, like a really classic spy name. And off the top of my head, I said in 5 seconds George Whitebrook, and he was like, "That's a horrible name. I've never heard a less spy-like name." And I'm like, "You're totally wrong, but I'm so glad you don't like it because I'm gonna use the fuck out of this." And then that's how George Whitebrook was kind of born. I made that concept trailer for concept poster for the fourth line in like 2019, the summer, I guess, and I actually used it to get into the university because I had to send in a couple of posters, and that was one of them. So, and they really liked it, and it kind of the idea was kind of spewing in my mouth for a couple of months, I guess, and I wrote the script in fall 2019, and I was kind of struggling with the casting. Like, it was obvious to me that Alex would be the villain, and we'll get that, but I was just kind of having a little bit of a trouble thinking about like the other parts. But then it just hit me that we had just arranged for Pauli and the rest of Deaf Films to come and film the third Jack Stone and Clank film, which came out to be Cold Fusion. And we had many filming days, and we haven't decided yet what we were going to film on those days. So it just it kind of clicked, and it ended up being kind of a collaboration as well. And it was just really cool having that Deaf Films cast on that as well. And yeah, that's that's basically how it came to be.
I like the fourth line because it's I would say one of the most like nice looking films that is on our channel, and like I think big thanks for that goes to the guys at Depp Films.
Yeah, Adam Leon,
it's really a please go.
Yeah, he's a fantastic cinematographer, and a lot of all the camera work in Fourth Line, except for the office scene, is Adam's. Just he came up with using the Dutch angle in the opening sequence, and that's just become a trademark of George Whitebrook now.
Yeah, it's really like the best of both worlds. Like,
yeah,
we might have something. Well, we might have a lot to learn about those camera angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas what Foxway Studios has to bring to the table in that film is the awesome actors and the combat and all that.
Yeah, that's always the one thing I take the most pride on, and Like we can go on and on about our fight scenes, but you know, there's no others like it because you know, well, the whole combat sport that we use in our films is basically made up by me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it's yeah. I don't know what else to say about the Fourth Line, but it was a perfect start for a perfect franchise. It's really fun to write George Whitebrook. Well, first of all, he's not cold like Jack Stone, not exactly in the same way at least. But you know, George throws around those killer lines of his, and it's a little more lighthearted. But he's still a brutal man, of course. But it's a lot more lighthearted. And also, what's so fun about writing George Whitebrook is that we have so many opportunities for different storylines now that we are not like tied to modern technology or modern society. You know,
Yeah.
using the Cold War as a backdrop is just something that I basically dreamed of. And you know, the 60s, 70s, probably we'll probably go into the 80s with George one day. But yeah, it's just a pleasure to write George Whitebrook. How about Alex?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had
Alex has been real quiet. Schultz
yeah,
himself.
Yes. Well, I haven't. I didn't want to interrupt or anything, so that's why I've been quiet.
Mm.
But one thing I can say when we were working on the Fourth Line is that the working with guys at Depp Films was very good. Like they were a pleasure to work with, and I wish we could do more collaborations in the future.
we'll do soon enough. We are planning for the fourth Jack and Clank film, and when COVID also lets us do so, we'll be filming that one.
Yeah, when COVID eases up, then we can hopefully collaborate more because
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I remember it was like when we like filmed those scenes. It felt like that we did those scenes rapid fire, even though some blubbed the lines, mainly me. Uh,
Well, you had the most talking.
well, I had the most talking, yeah. Uh, it felt like it was like very rapid fire. It was very efficient. I remember like it was very
Yes.
efficient working, and I was like very happy with that.
Yeah, it's 16-minute film that was done in one day. Well, except for the office scene, but basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shall we move on?
We can move on. Next, we have, well, actually, we can probably talk about both of the episodes Jack Stone Classified, because
Yeah, let's get into that later. I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it when the time comes.
Yeah.
Then there's Faked. Probably not too much
Yeah,
about.
faked another one of those probably that many did not know about before it came out.
Yeah.
Same. Many of these that you put out like at the start of the year, I haven't heard about because I was in the south.
Yeah.
Then the next is the Striker Ascension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun one to do, and also one of those that we did in just one day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This, you can probably tell me a lot more about the fight scene.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We had even bigger plans for the film, but what was the main problem we had? Was it like that we were all cold and it was coming dark and
Yeah,
whatnot?
we were on our last battery basically, and
Yeah.
you know, we started filming at like 2 p.m. and it was getting close to 7, and you know, the light was changing obviously too much
Yeah.
for the fight to go on for another couple of minutes, and it kind of works being a little shorter than I first imagined.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have added another minute to the fight, but it's
Yeah.
it's what it is, and usually when that happens, that we'll have to cut some corners. It's not really hindering the quality, maybe hindering my dreams, but you know, mostly it affects the like well in that film it's just really the fact that the fight is a little shorter might have even worked for the better. You know, knowing the characters in
Yeah,
that scene. Yeah.
yeah. The fight scene was fun to film.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. Me and Eric, we really haven't. There are those siblings that do a lot of fighting, and although we have had our kind of brotherly quarrels, we have never hit each other, I think. And like, so it's fun to film something like that where you pretend to go all out against the other guy. But I don't know.
And I think that was like the first meeting of you two properly on the screen as well, like
Yeah.
as two main characters. And
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of that coming soon. But
Yeah. I don't really know. It was a fun little flick to film. Don't really
yeah,
have much else to say about it.
yeah, I was really happy with the fight scene, and you know, you guys obviously you have good chemistry. Well, obviously, and yeah, you practice it well, and you know, it worked. It worked great.
Yeah.
Well, then game. Does anyone have anything else to add, Nate or Alex? Before I go on.
Well, if I, or if you have anything to say, Nate, you can start.
No, I don't have any.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Well. I can say that Striker Ascension was like, I remember like one day when I was rewatching all the films, that one stuck out to me. Like that one was the most surprising. Like in a sense that it was actually better than I remembered.
Yeah, it's a film like that. You see that it's there, and then you start watching it, then you realize that it's much better than you expected.
Yeah.
It's one of those for me as well. Like it has some serious rewatching value.
Yeah. But like looking at the film now, it always cracks me up because like I filmed that same film with Tony and others like 2 or 3 times, and I've seen the film. Like those have never come to YouTube, obviously, aside from the one where I was Striker, I think.
Yeah, we have that
Yeah.
in the unfinished and
Yeah. Yeah, but
release.
I've seen the what is left, or what was filmed of those. Like in the first one, I think Tony was Striker. Then in the
Yeah.
next one, it was flipped around, and
Yeah.
was it even Steve in some case? Like it's just
Yeah, we were planning to reboot it with Steve at one
Yeah.
point, but
Yeah.
we did the original one with me, then we did the one with you that we never finished, and
Yeah.
then we did the one with Eric. But think about this: when you think about the name Prime Striker, what kind of a face comes to your mind? It's Eric. It's perfect.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
maybe,
written in the
yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
Then, the next thing that came out was the club official trailer, and soon after that, the club itself.
Oh man, oh man.
Oh
Like
boy.
I want you all to share your thoughts about this, because I remember when I was telling you how this would all be cut together, nobody understood.
Yeah, it was a cluster cluster of confusion, but it works really well. I remember because there's the obvious 2-year gap that
It's not so obvious.
well yeah, of course. I was just like,
To us, it's obvious.
Yeah.
If you know, or if you've been part of the filming crew, you know. But yeah, there was a 2-year gap between some of those shots, and I remember it was summer 2018 when me and Steve were going to the army. The college had just ended, and we were, like the whole crew was kind of getting emotional that this will be the biggest and the last thing we do together in a long time. And there was originally, I think there was a an ending line along
Yeah,
along the
just
lines of
corny.
it's been fun, gentlemen. We'll meet each other at a better date or something like that. And then, of course, we ran out of time. We didn't finish the whole thing, and it took 2 years of actually not stopping to film. And yeah, but now that it's there, it works surprisingly well. We found almost the same clothes, and a couple of haircuts were done in between, but
Yeah, but that also was like, the only obvious one was Nate's hair. Like
Yeah.
in the first one, or the first time we filmed, he had a buzz cut, and next time he had a long hair. So a little bit of a hat never hurt anybody. Yeah, it was some work to be done to mask the 2 year gap, but we got it done well. And yeah, of course, like I said about like when I first told about how I was going to edit the thing and how we're gonna film it, we filmed it so that we filmed everybody's portions, like for example, all my scenes, we filmed them. Then we moved on to Thomas's scenes and so on and so on. And then I said that I'll be cutting them together intermittently, like it changes perspective. Basically, I could have said that. I never said
Yeah.
it changes perspective. I could have said that, and you'd all got it in the first place. But everybody was like, "Okay, let's just do it." And then we filmed it, and then I showed how it works, and everybody was like, "Oh, so that's what you were saying." But yeah, it works, and it's really a concept for success. Like yeah, I'm just looking forward to a time when we can actually work on a second one and make it even better. Now that we know how the whole system works, and now that you guys know how it's gonna be edited together, maybe that will make the whole filming process easier as well. But we'll have to look for a better time to do that. It wasn't meant to be this year, so perhaps we'll get to that next year because I want it to be a winter film.
Yeah.
And that usually sucks, filming in the winter. But we'll make it happen. We'll make it work.
Yeah. Well, then there's the suppressor. Do we have anything interesting about that?
Well, it's basically the debut of Alex's new apartment. Well,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was seen at the end of the club, but in all of its glory.
Yes.
Yeah, that the,
Yeah.
the apartment Alex has now, I like that. It's got everything, and like it's really like versatile to use
Yeah.
to stuff like this. And you got your own sauna and all kinds of stuff. I'm kind of jealous.
It is a good apartment, not gonna lie. Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's always good to have more places to film in. Like obviously, like it's always
Yeah.
great have more locations.
yeah, it's an additional space that we didn't have earlier. And just perfect. Like we don't always have to film everything in Eddie's room. Like we used to.
Yeah.
And the apartment, it's our grandma's old apartment. So, it's kind of a fun nostalgia trip to go back there after 15 years.
Yep.
I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Yeah, we have some pictures of me sitting in the sink 15 years ago and me trying to fit in the sink now, 15 years later.
And
Oh, I have
also, me and Tony actually played in the yard
Yeah,
when
me
I
and
was also living here. When we
Yeah.
were like very young.
Yeah, me and Alex first met in the yard of that house.
No, that's cool.
Wow.
I knew about the grandma thing, but I
Yeah,
didn't know about
when I was visiting my grandma and Alex was living basically in the house next to my grandma's house, I just went to the yard because there was this cool kid playing in the playground. And then me and Alex threw I think we threw pine cones at each other for.
I think so. I don't remember what we did, but we certainly played.
Yeah,
What kids do.
yeah. We did some kid shit.
Yeah. And now, how many odd years later, now we are throwing bullets at each other.
How things change. Boys and toys.
That's
That,
heartwarming.
Yeah.
that's an extremely cool topic to go on, at least at some point, how everyone met each other. But
Yeah, we can do that after we
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
through this.
I'll mark that down. But
Yeah.
the then there was the George Whitebrook Rainmaker official trailer, and then Rainmaker came out.
Yeah,
In October.
Rainmaker was just like a natural successor to the fourth line. I was kind of like the idea came to me before we even did the fourth line, but really the only idea was the title and what the title could be used for. I knew I wanted to do the Rainmaker list. I wanted nukes involved, and yeah, it just kind of came naturally together. And I wanted to have two films out that year to kind of show everybody that yeah, this is a franchise. It wasn't just a one-off. Yeah, it works nicely, and the nice summer weather is a bit of a contrast for for fourth line, which is kind of more winter, springy kind of type of weather. So yeah, Rainmaker looks really good, but what I know the weather was good, but how was the swimming weather?
Oh yeah, Nate took a little
Eh,
dip.
It was actually quite warm, the water. Water.
Or perhaps it was the set of my clothes that I gave you.
Yeah.
Didn't
uh,
waterproof it, but yeah.
no, but I remember reading the scripts, and they said that Kulikov drowns to the river, and then I remember asking Tony that are you serious about this? And then you said something like no, we can change it like this, and then I was no, don't change it. I definitely want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of like I wrote that kind of when I write the first version of script, I kind of I go back. I just I imagine how I'd make it if this was a Hollywood film. If we had a big budget and if we had somebody to dry Nate off right there in the, in the picture, like that was like my ideal version. But I was really ready for him to just dive the shoreline and just drop his hand into the water or something like that. And he asks me about the scene, and I'm like, yeah, I was going too big with this one as well. Yeah, we'll just change it that he just kind of, crumbles onto the sand at the shoreline, and then he goes, no, 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 I want to go into the river.
And that's whole kind of the bad guy dying in the river. I remember we have been talking about that since like 8th grade or something. Then
Yeah, and
we were going to use it somewhere, but that never came to pass. And but now we finally did it.
But by the way, that scene felt like that it had to be taken in one shot. You couldn't really
Yeah.
do a retake.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Like, did you feel extra stressed about doing that scene, or did it go just as you planned, just as normally?
I don't know about Nate, but I was really nervous because I was afraid I was gonna start laughing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And
Like,
and because I have a line in that scene, and we had to get it in the same shot because I wanted the film end with George walking away and we having the river there, and Nate goes below the surface, and I have the Rainmaker in my hand, and I look at it and I say just business, and I walk off. But That's my only regret, basically, about the movie. But it had to be that way because I kind of rushed it. I just really quickly looked at the thing and walked away. But I was worried about Nate drowning because his face was underwater basically the whole time.
Yeah, and I kind of fail with the breathing because I didn't breathe before I before I got under. So
But
yeah,
actually, the buoyancy kind of, is that a word? Buoyancy. How do you?
Yeah.
Alex,
Buoyancy, yeah.
buoyancy. Well, floatiness kind of surprised you, I think, because like it looked like you were trying to go like below the surface, but then you just kind of popped back up.
yeah.
And then you just, I don't, but I'm glad it worked. That we got it into the.
We got it done, but I don't know if Thomas is really jealous because I think always, like for the past 10 years, we've been talking about that scene, and we've always said it's gonna be you. And then it was Nate, and you just see the scene happen because you were filming it. In the moment, I imagine you're like, it should have been me.
Yeah, trust me, I'm not jealous at all.
Hey, guys. I know a cliff where you can jump to the water,
Nice.
and
I was
think
going to
we can
say
use
that
it.
a cliff. We can jump on it.
And we can maybe use it for our films.
We definitely can. We can use everything now.
It's almost 6 meters high, so
Okay, Thomas is doing that.
Whoa.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, maybe that's enough about Rainmaker.
Evan Roscoe, first assignment. Well, we can't talk about too much about that, but me and Tony, I guess, can, because we
Yeah,
did the film.
it's that's probably another one that most people didn't know was coming.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't have much to say about that, but I just wanted a leading role for Eddie, like a franchise role for him too, because everybody has one. Well, basically, Alex doesn't actually. Now that I think about that.
Wait, what?
You don't really have like a franchise of your own, like a spy franchise or something like that.
Not necessarily. No. I've been mainly most of the time when I don't know like what the split is like between like when I'm a good guy and a bad guy.
I think you played the villain quite a lot.
Yes,
but
that's what I remember actually.
But you're really good at it.
Because you're such a dark figure. It's easy to picture you as
yeah, I know. I look very uninviting. I know.
No.
I don't think that's exactly what he was saying, but
No, I get it. And I like playing those roles. I don't mind at all. No.
Yeah. Nonetheless, maybe that's something that we need to fix sometime soon. Anyhow, Evan Roscoe, like I said, I wanted a leading role for Eddie, and I just kind of wanted something that easy to do, but can still be entertaining. And we already filmed the next one in that series, so that's happening. But
didn't we announce that? Did we?
I don't know if we didn't. Now we did. Yeah, Evan Roscoe, the man from Scandinavia, is coming out. Hold on.
Is it coming out in June? Or what?
Yeah, it's coming out on June 18th, I think.
Okay.
You heard it, folks. Right here.
You heard it. You heard it first here.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's No Man's Land. Me, Tony, Thomas, and Alex were a part of it.
So let's hear. Let's hear
from Nathan.
What do you think about No Man's Land?
Well, I think it was a piece of shit. No. Okay,
awkward
Here- here-
silence, kind of like
Cut
everybody.
there.
And everybody was, serious
hear me
now?
out. Hear me out. I think that it's one of the best films what we made in 2020.
Now that's more like it.
I like when I watched it first time. My mind just exploded so many times. It looks so good, and the acting is just brilliant, and the um, I just think it's a fucking great movie, and that's my honest opinion.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome.
Yeah, Alex burned to a crisp while filming that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember. It was it was I wouldn't really say torturous, but it was definitely well,
That's already
it
a
was
bad
quite warm there, and I bet. I mean, if it was warm for me, I can only imagine how warm it was for you guys there with those
And I-
outfits.
I'd say it was more ants than heat.
Oh
That
yeah,
was the
actually,
problem there.
yeah, and yeah.
I probably still have an ant's nest up my ass or something. That changed my body forever. I think. You know, ants
Yeah.
crawling
Oh,
over me in my eyes and in my mouth all the time. You know, when I was doing those sniper scenes, I had a couple of ants in the scope lens.
Nice.
Like I don't know how they got there, but they were there. And you know, well, I kind of had a crosshair. So
I mean, I got some tiebreaker flashbacks from that. Yeah. Now
yeah,
that you mentioned the ants, like
Yeah.
I remember when we filmed tiebreaker, like there was also like a ton of ants.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was.
Ants are
What about
just
the star of the film? Yeah, you go first, maybe.
I was gonna just say that the ants are the ultimate enemy of Foxway Studios.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
Not a huge fan.
mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about the star of the film?
Oh yeah, we're referring to me. I wasn't
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I don't know. I just saw the whole trio as kind of
Yeah, it kind of is, but you
But-
know, I kind of wrote it
Yeah.
with you in mind as the lead, so
yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I really like the war film aesthetic in
Yeah.
in it, and like I found my time in the army really kind of I really liked it there. It's the kind of military environment was kind of its own bubble in society, and like it's one of a kind experience, and kind of acting out that kind of military kind of background for your character. It was interesting.
And that background also definitely helped with the authenticity of the film as well.
Yeah.
Because when you get a pretty good kind of you get a pretty good sense of how things are done in the military when you go through that that stuff in your military service, and it was easier to act in the film. Where's my English?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's just it's one of those Antnia films that just give you the liberty to kind of you don't have to get everything exactly right because you know it's Antnia. Anything can happen, and you know the military outfits and they were really cool, but they weren't exactly the same for everybody. But you know, like I said, that's the Antnia tactic. They they confuse the enemy by using different uniforms for everything.
yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy fix, and there's always easy fixes for the Antnia films. And you know, I wanted to do a war film for a really long time. Like, well, we did Lorne, and that was kind of a prelude to No Man's Land in a sense. And well, you know, No Man's Land, it's not a traditional war film, and I think there's still some traditional war films for us down the line. But yeah, it's a step in the right direction. And well, everybody comments the effects of that film, and I know I did good work on those. But like the best part about No Man's Land is Alex's cinematography combined with the color grading, which is probably my best color grading, if I say so myself. It just really looks exactly like you think a war film should look like.
And the color grading actually helps to sell the outfits. In a
Yeah,
sense,
it does.
because, like in reality, they were kind of far apart. I had that. I don't know how you would call that, like a like insect wing theme,
Yeah,
and you guys had, was it like British?
yeah, it's
Mm.
it's British camel.
Yeah, they were kind of far apart from each other, but they actually look quite nice together with the color grading in the movie.
Yeah, that's one of my regrets with the film, that I played all of the bad guys. But I think if we stayed there and filmed more of the bad guys coming, and just it would have driven us insane, and nobody was really willing to roll around on the ground playing with the ants any more than we absolutely had to. So that was a corner we had to cut. And it still works because that film isn't really about the enemy. It's about the relationship between the characters, and the enemies are seen so briefly in that film. Like they probably have like minute of time total. Like if you count all the scenes where you can see the enemies, they're like basically seen from the waist up, where you can't really tell who it is. It was just me with the same pants and everything, but it still worked. And yeah, it's I think that's part of a war film and creating that right atmosphere. I haven't been to war, but usually in wartime you don't exactly like get to see the faces of your enemies that well. So it kind of worked that we didn't see the bad guys that well.
Yeah. Well, the club a French Christmas.
Nate has mentioned a few nice words about that one. The Alps.
Yeah.
I think I just called you one day and I said I want to do something, and then you just showed up, and I said that you're Sebastian Lamar. Today we're doing a club spin-off, and this is a Christmas special. Now do your shit.
Yeah.
That's basically that. But you have to learn French.
Jouy Noël.
Oh,
Yeah.
you remember? It's a skill for a lifetime. Eddie can tell about the editing because you did half of it.
Oh yeah, I did the visual effects with the very strict mentoring of Tony, and but yeah, I did those effects.
It was basically like, okay, this is a joke. You did a lot of the effects yourself, but a part of it, I think I just did them with your hand, basically.
Yeah.
There was your hand was on the mouse, but my hand was on your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the effects in that film are made by Eddie, and those came out really good. You can't tell the difference.
Thanks.
And Ben,
Sorry, I grabbed a little something to eat. What's the hell? I missed something.
how dare you?
No, no, you didn't.
Well, at this point, we could mention a couple of words about Jack Stone Classified, since we missed it earlier. The first episode, Bound by Blood, where Nathan was playing the brother of Ricard Galbraith, who was Felix Galbraith. How was that? How was that for you? Since it's the character. The character was a brother of someone we had already seen before, but it wasn't in the canon before that there was a brother. So how was it jumping into those boots, if you remember?
I don't know. It wasn't like hard or anything. I mean, I had a pretty good day, and I did, and my acting was okay, and I don't know. Maybe I tried to because Felix wanted to be just like his big brother, so maybe I tried to like what's the word? Copy. Uh, what was his name?
Michael.
Calbraith. What?
No,
Michael.
Michael's acting in the first one.
Yes.
Richard Cartwright.
Yes. Rick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works really well. Like I think your acting really got the point across that Felix wanted to be like Ricard Cartwright, but in the end he was over his head. Like he just wasn't a
Yeah.
match at all. And
Yeah.
but it works. And yeah, good job. And Eddie was there on camera. It was a fun day, cold day, but still warm enough to survive without hats.
Yeah, and I really like the fight scene. I think we do a lot of great fight scenes.
Yeah.
And I liked especially when Jack kills Felix. It looks so brutal when he just snaps his
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah, I think the fact that we used a cut right there at the neck break really, really like sold the move. And I also love the part where I lift you up. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we were like, when we did that, we were like, no shit, we really did it.
Yeah.
In the end, it was easy, but we were kind of like, could it work? Maybe it works, and then it did.
Yeah.
And a fun thing to mention is that Nightfall was filmed in the same location as the first episode, and you can see the mill in the background in a couple of spots there.
Yeah.
But you can't really tell because it's such a different weather. It's with the snow, it looks really different.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Alex has some memories of filming Nightfall. You had a nice accent going there.
Yeah, it was. I think that's kind of the second film where I had like a stronger accent going on.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know. The results speak for themselves, I suppose.
Yeah, it's great, and you really, really sell the point that he's an American.
Well, that's good. I remember it was quite fun to film that.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't remember. Was it really especially hot or cold outside? I remember it was like quite fair.
Yeah,
fair
it was.
weather.
It was start of fall, so it was. I was doing okay. Of course, I had the jacket with the fur lining, so
Yeah.
it was starting to get hot by the end of it, but
Yeah, but yeah, it was also filmed in a day, and
Yeah.
It was actually the first project that I think that was the first project where we used new equipment.
Oh yeah, that's the debut of the ND filter,
Yes.
and it looks really crisp.
Mm-hmm. And it's especially good because it was a really sunny, bright day outside that we actually really got to use it.
Yeah.
So it was a good debut for that, and yeah, it definitely looks nice. The colors.
I love
really,
that thing. It makes it so easy to avoid those
exposure. Yeah.
overexposures. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great tool for that, and yeah, you can really see that it helps with the quality and the depth of field in Nightfall already, and now that we work with it more, it looks even better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
we've been going for an hour. We got lots a lot of ground to cover.
yeah, we can try to speed things up a bit, but well, our next is Smith and Jones, and
We already had that one special, but I'd like to
Yeah,
hear from the
yeah.
others.
I'll have to go quickly piss, but please, already you can already start.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Just don't leave the mic
Wait,
on.
I
What-
might
what?
go as well.
Okay.
Okay, okay. You guys come back in a second, and Alex and Thomas has some thoughts about Smith and Jones.
Yeah. Well, I I like the style um, the series has. It kind of the same jolly comedy that that Jace Harris represents.
Yeah,
I really love I really love comedy.
yeah, yeah. There's something about doing that style of
Yeah.
thing. It's not something that I want to overdo, but it's something that
Yeah.
really has its place. And
Yeah.
Smith and Jones, well, like I've said before, Jace Harris is well, he's pretty good at what he does, but he's just he's a personality. So
Yeah.
that one's a little harder to write because the comedy still has to make some sense.
Yeah.
With Smith and Jones, I don't really have that problem.
You don't have to make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just like because they both, well, maybe Smith kind of he thinks he's like in on the situation and kind of knows what he's doing, but he really doesn't at
yeah,
times. And the whole thing at the start of the series when there's a guy dead with a wood chopping axe sticking out his butt, and the guys are just standing there like really solemn with a solemn expression on their face. Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, it's mm,
Me
welcome.
too.
nice, good timing.
Thomas, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah,
Please.
I went ahead.
He went
Well,
ahead.
TLDR, I like it.
What about Nate?
Smith and Jones.
Yeah, some general thoughts.
They are super funny. I have laughed my ass off watching this, and I think it's uh cool that we have like this season 1 and episode 1, 2, 3, 4
Yeah, it looks nice.
thing, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
You
think
you
the
had a,
stories are great, and I had even I acted
yeah, I was
this,
about to say
yeah.
you had a bit of a special guest appearance in the third episode.
Yeah, and the filming of that episode was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, you might have seen the making of a Smith and Jones New World Order. Wait, it's I don't know what's bloopers or
Bloopers, Smith and Jones, yeah.
yeah. There you can see when you guys try to sit on the
Yeah, I don't remember that we'd have taken more takes of anything ever before or ever again.
It was definitely the hardest thing we've ever shot. Like
Yeah.
I have that I've been part of at least.
Yeah. How about Alex? You had a lot to do with the series.
Yeah, I was working on pretty much most of the episodes, all except the second one.
Yeah.
Second one, I was not involved in any way, uh, and well, yeah, I was also the bad guy in the first episode and the fourth/fifth episode, uh, which you could probably call like just a single episode cut into two. You know, it's like a
Yeah.
special. Um, uh, yeah. It was pretty fun. Yeah. It was pretty fun to work on, and I think the results are also pretty funny. Yeah. And
Agreed.
yeah, I don't know really. I don't really have anything much else to say on it except
Yeah,
that. Really,
we had one special about the whole show. We probably said everything that we needed to.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, in that case, we'll jump over the trailer between Smith and Jones and Master of Death and go straight to Master of Death.
Yeah, we've also talked about that quite a bit, but I just have to say that that's one of the things that I'm most proud of for something that's been made up in like a matter of 48 hours basically. Because I just woke up one morning, I got this film idea, I called Alex or messaged him and said, okay, we're doing this shit now, and then we did it in just inside a couple of days, and it ended up being one of my favorite films that we've done so far. So usually the ones that we do in a day, like they're good, but probably not like the best we've done. But that's definitely up there on the top.
What's the secret for the uh, visual kind of the visuals of the movie? Like
Oh, you mean the
the
green?
the combat kind of I don't really know how to like where to point in that, but the combat looks different. Is it with the like how you cut the shots or
Well, it might have a lot to do with the editing, but might also just be like a physical thing with the fact that we were filming in such small spaces mostly. Also in the playground scene, we kind of had to make it a little different. It's kind of actually like an old school Foxway Studios in that sense that the fight scenes are kind of long. There's no cuts.
yeah
There's and I was just really inspired by John Wick 3 for
yeah
that. I wanted to keep them really long and make no unnecessary cuts. So yeah, and it also might feel a little different because I was this was the first time in a while that I cut a big amount of frames out of the shots to make the punches and kicks and other hits look more impactful.
oh yeah okay
So yeah, that might have to do with
yeah
the visual style. But that's also one of my favorite color grading jobs I've done. It looks pretty good.
yeah
Hmm.
But talking about color grading, uh, I really have to mention Dish Accept Cold now. I'll move on to that
Yeah.
because I think like most people who've commented on that or sent me a message about it, they've said that it's the best looking film we've done, and I'm not sure if that's exactly so in my mind, but it's pretty close at least because
it's
it
really
look
consistent
yeah,
with
the color is fantastic. Not that it didn't look beautiful in real life, but the grading job, it just oh, it's
Elevates it.
yeah, it's amazing. And for a lot of people, I remember one guy told me that he had never seen snow before the film.
oh gosh
Yeah,
Oh,
that's that's a lot of snow basically, even for us maybe. And the trees are all covered in snow, so I can't even imagine how that feels like. Like clicking this film open and then like, why the fuck is everything covered in cocaine?
yeah you kind of take that for granted when you live here for your
Yeah,
whole life
hmm
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think we covered that as well in Nate's podcast, and we talked about the making of earlier also. So if you guys
Yeah.
don't have anything to add, maybe we'll move on to greener pastures.
yeah maybe
Uh, was someone gonna say something?
Nope.
Oh,
no.
okay. Well, in that case, we've gone on for a really long time, but we still have two topics to talk about. Uh, so now I'll actually have a vote here. Uh, which
Uh-huh.
one will we do first? Talking about the future projects, or I kind of want to do the how each of us met each other. Which one will we do first?
I want to say the latter.
Yeah,
I want to say the latter.
Okay,
maybe yeah, because we always talk about projects.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that talking about the future would be the last thing to talk about, really. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
Yeah, I have a couple
Agreed.
of things I want to say at the end, and otherwise, other than that, we don't really need to go into the future projects. They're coming, so yeah, we can concentrate on getting out some stories first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we already talked about how Tony and Alex met. I guess that was a like.
Yeah, in case somebody's just watching this from the end and wants to just hear the meeting part, like I'll do a recount. Alex and I met in a playground at my grandma's old apartment, and Alex happened to be a neighbor, and then we played there. And 15 years later, Alex lives in my grandma's apartment, but not with my grandma. But you know,
Well,
Who's
we
next?
actually, I think that when what about the first time we really met? Like when we actually started to know
Yeah.
each other, and I started to work for Foxway Studios and stuff like that.
I think that was in 7th grade, and you heard about us wrestling, and you asked about that, and I asked you if you wanted to join, and you were like, "Fuck that," and and then like a couple of days later, I think you came around to it, and you asked me if you could still get in, or something like that. I think that was it.
I
And
think
then
that might be it. Yeah.
then you came around. I tried to teach you a spine buster, and you kicked me in the balls. So yeah, that's
That I don't remember actually.
but I do.
Oh, I think. I bet.
Your balls do remember.
Yeah, definitely they do.
Oh boy.
I remember spending my first 6 years in school in a different. The school systems are different in English. What's that? Like lower secondary school.
Well,
Well,
it's
the
primary school.
grades 1 to 6. I was in a
Yeah.
different school, and come 7th grade and upper secondary school, we all came to the same same school in the center of the town, and me and Tony were on the same class, and I don't remember how. It's been years. I don't remember anymore.
I don't remember exactly, but you know, you just had to come around to it because eventually, everybody I've ever met, basically,
Yeah.
I've told about filming and I blackmailed into doing it.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how I extorted you, but I probably did somehow. And
Yeah.
now it's your life.
Yeah.
I do remember the first time I saw you, and you know who I'm talking about when I tell that I first saw this big guy with snapback the wrong way on his head, and he was sitting on a stone and with his arms crossed like this, and he had a couple of skinny dudes right next to him. The other one with the brown hair, the other one with the red hair, and me and Steve and I think it was Nick. We were standing in the other corner, and we were like, I just so hope that those guys don't come into our class. And then they all did. And, but I can tell you, it was the guy in the middle who looked the part more than the two others.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it all just worked out. And
It was a really nice 3 years, and like I feel safe to say that Tony is my best friend. Like it's
right back at you.
yeah, it's been nice, and like I feel like I just realized it's been going on for 8 years, and this has really been like a better hobby than many others that people pick up after school.
Sometimes I feel guilty that I like when I reach out to you guys, I talk about filming a lot, but that's the thing that connects us. So yeah, I do talk about some other things as well, but not so often. How
Well,
the rest of the lot?
yeah,
Well,
Tony,
we-
I
how
want
did
to
we
know
meet
how.
each other?
Yeah, how Eddie and Tony? How did you meet each other?
Yeah,
Well,
how could that have happened?
Eddie was about 50 centimeters long or tall, I guess, and he was in this white wrap. I don't know exactly, and he was really red, and he was screaming like crazy, and he was like wet, and he was like I think he was like 14 hours old when I met him
Mm.
for the first time. But I do remember it because it was a life-changing moment. Because I walked into the room and I was like, I was asking where our crybaby is. I think something like that. And then I saw him. I saw him that's an actual fucking human. That's my fucking brother. It did change my life in more ways than one, and it was a life-changing moment. I remember I was 7 years old, but it still stopped me completely. It was yeah, it was I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it was life-changing.
Hmm.
Everybody who has a brother probably knows how they feel about their brothers, and it's a pretty strong bond. So that was made in an instant. And yeah. How about somebody else says something before I start crying and this all goes
Okay.
sideways?
How about
uh,
the first time me and Nathan met? I think it was like
mm,
it wasn't. I don't think it was at the time NFCW, but it was like a wrestling thing that we did. That was the first time that we met.
yeah,
Probably. I
yeah.
remember.
I remember we were. I don't know when it was, but well, me, Eddie, and Tony are cousins. So
Yeah, actually, I imagine many don't actually know that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we'll come back to that. But
Yeah.
we were on the this one beach and swimming, and then I remember Tony um, telling about wrestling to me and my brother, and then Tony asked us if we want to come to film some wrestling, and then we. It,
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it kind of started like with I think like Eddie was choke slamming me into the water, something like that.
I actually
And
remember that. That's crazy.
and you guys came around and you asked like what are you doing, and then I told you about wrestling and I asked if you were interested in trying it out, and then you guys came. I think we filmed the Rumble, and I think that's where you met Alex as well. I
yeah,
would say.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
My words don't come out
Yeah,
from my
that's all
mouth.
right.
But yeah, I remember the first time we met. I mean, you were such a wee lad back then, man. Like such a long time ago, really. Like holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like 5 years.
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
mean,
been 7 years since then. It was September
Oh.
2014.
yeah. I
Holy
mean,
shit.
it doesn't sound like much, but like
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, it's
but
been a
because
while.
we were so young, that amount of time is a lot.
Yeah.
Especially a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Me and Alex.
Was
Alex,
I
Alex
11?
was. Sorry, Nathan. Did I?
No, I just
Okay.
go on. I just
Okay.
thought out loud.
Oh
Go
yeah.
on.
Yeah, I was starting to say about like because me and Tony were on the same class from 7th grade onward, but Alex was you transitioned to our class
Yeah, on the 8th grade, yes.
Yeah. But before that, you hanged out with us. So that's
Most
how
of
I.
the time, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got to know you on the breaks. And
Only through recess, yeah,
Yeah.
mostly.
but
And
yeah, you've been there almost as long as the others.
yeah, and of course, we also met outside of school when we did
Yeah.
filming and such.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How about Thomas and Nate?
I don't know. Eddie was just hanging out at your place, like naturally. But I don't know when I kind of got to know Eddie over time a bit more. He was kind of just that little brother who just was there and didn't really do,
Yeah,
do
I
much
think
with us.
I think that's pretty much how you and Eddie met. Is the same story as how I met Eric.
Yeah.
But how about you and Nate?
I don't. Yeah, I remember Nate coming. I can't even remember the year, but he came to your place every now and then, and he was part of the wrestling stuff. And
It was actually the same
Yeah.
Rumble. Now that I think about it, you were both in the same match,
okay,
and
That's
then
also-
Thomas
yeah.
I
retired.
have no memories.
oh yeah, I can't remember much about that. And I think I didn't really give Nate a second thought in a sense, because he was just like a cousin of you guys that I didn't know.
Yeah,
and yeah, I've gotten to know Nathan more through church stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm really glad I do nowadays.
I don't exactly remember meeting Nate because I've been 3 years old when he was born. But I do have some early memories, like coming to your house to play with your big brothers, and then you guys were there in diapers or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my first memories of you. And then, well, like the kind of the day that I really met you was at the beach that day, I guess. Like we had met multiple times before that, but those were like the first times that we really like did something together.
Yeah, I think so. We just like be in these family parties and
Yeah,
maybe spoken few words each other,
yeah.
but
Did we miss some relationship? I guess
well-
Eddie is about the same story with Nate.
Yeah. I actually didn't talk about mine, but I guess my first meetings with Alex and Thomas have been through wrestling stuff, and we probably the same as you and Nate.
Mm.
With Nate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, did we miss anyone?
I don't
I
think
think
so.
that's it. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's it.
Because I just wanted to say that, when we started doing films, like basically more and more, I think that was around like 7th grade or so when we really like put a lot of effort into it. Because before that, we had done like one film a year with basically Steve and Nick. And in 7th grade, like we added Alex and Michael and Thomas. And I was like, okay, this is a perfect group. But now, like with every addition to the group, I couldn't imagine doing it without anyone. Like, if we're like missing anyone. And I always say, like, I don't want to, like, this is my passion, and it's kind of become a passion for many of you, but you guys have other shit to do as well. And like I've said, I'll never like force anyone into anything, but it's just grown into this group thing that like it's kind of natural to all of us by now. And yeah, it wouldn't work the same without like any one of you, but of course it wouldn't work at all without me. So
yeah,
There it
that's
is.
true.
and now remember to vote for me in my, yeah. But yeah, That's all she wrote.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's enough of story times then.
Yeah, and now let's leave a plank into the end if somebody wants to say anything. But I'll just do a quick run around about the future. So next week we'll have, or well, this week I guess when this podcast comes out, Death to Spies will be released on April 23rd.
3 days
And
from
then,
the release of this podcast.
yes, on Friday, April 23rd. And up next we have Civil War 5, which was a really fun shoot. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's coming out on May 21st. If I get to finish it in time, it's got a shitload of effects. But yeah, I'm trying my best. And then the next Evan Roscoe film on June 18th. And the July slot remains open, but we'll be talking about that later.
Mm,
And then well, you know, the big one. It's in the works. And I've said everything I need to say about Iridescent. And what's left to be seen is the trailers, the posters, and the film itself. And if anybody wants to say anything about that, now's probably the time.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the Iridescent. It has moved on great, and the filming has been smooth, and
Yeah,
we've had a great time filming it, which is
yeah,
the most important thing.
yeah. It hasn't been time consuming, especially considering how good it is.
Mm.
Usually, if we rush things, you see it in quality in some sense, but
Yeah.
not with this one. Like, well, the pre-planning has been very good, and the filming has been really efficient. So, yeah, that's really the selling point of this one.
Yeah.
But it's coming along great, and we don't have that much left to film. So the summer blockbuster. What's a blockbuster? The summer
The
blockbuster.
exact yes, yes.
The summer blockbuster spot looks to be a solid for the Iridescent, but let's finish filming it first before announcing a release date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
pretty wise.
But that's really all for me. I don't want to discuss anything further than the Iridescent, but you know, there's a lot of shit in the works for later as well.
Well, all I can say is I'm also very excited. It's our most ambitious project, and the stuff that we have filmed has been very high quality stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, I can't wait till it all comes together.
yeah. It's a great story with some great performances and characters, and everybody's done a fantastic job with it.
Yes.
well, I guess that's about it.
I guess that's about it.
But actually, before we go into the actual outro of the podcast, I have kind of an announcement to make relating to Foxway Extras, and actually, I think Tony is the only one who knows about this. But
Oh.
the
You're selling it to Nasdaq.
yes, the Foxway podcast. This is the 10th episode of the Foxway podcast. The Foxway podcast is going on a break. I think it's going to be a 2-month break. I don't know whether or not I will replace the uh, bi-weekly podcast with something else, or will I just make a random video every other week. I don't yet know about that, but so that's it. The Foxway podcast will go on a 2-month break. At least a
Oh.
2-month break. I don't know how long it will actually be, but
It will, it will go on a break until we have enough new material to talk shit about.
yeah, and that will at least be the 2 months.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I guess that's about it then. Um, does anyone want to plug in anything before we end?
stay healthy, guys, and stay in contact with your loved ones.
Alex, what are you doing?
He's burning this studio alive.
Yes, I'm burning down this house. We
Oh.
don't need it anymore.
We do.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
couple of things. I have a couple of things planned there. Like you can't do it yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Okay. Well, Alex has to say goodbye now, so before it's too late.
Yeah.
So we have to go.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone who has been listening to this episode. Go subscribe to Foxbase Studios if you haven't. You
Oh, that's
probably
right.
have, but go do it. Uh,
Yeah,
I-
if you have been listening to us talk about Foxbase Studios for 2 hours and you haven't subscribed to Foxbase Studios, I'm not even going to say what's wrong with you because
everything is.
it's not. Yeah, that's not words enough to describe.
These guys have promoted their own stuff in their own podcasts, on podcast episodes. So if you want to check them out, go check those podcasts out. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So thank you for listening and goodbye. Everyone say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.